Nikon, a great name in photography. The F1, the Nikomat in the 70s, the FE, FM, wonderful cameras. In 1994, they introduced, to replace the F801, they introduced the F90. And the F90, I think, is a fantastic camera. It fits into that tradition with Nikon of producing a camera for amateurs that is so good it is actually used by professional photographers as well. And that is one of the factors of the F90. For the time, it was a highly computerized camera. It had new functions as multi-modes, it had automatic focusing, it had matrix focusing, it had a whole raft of features that were considered to be then new. It gave the photographer enormous choice in functions. It was quite a modern looking camera. It's relatively ergonomic. I think perhaps the 801 is slightly more ergonomic. It used autofocusing lenses. Let's have a slightly closer look at it. If I bring the camera in, right. If you look at this top plate here, you can see we have our on-off button, and we have normal on and on with sound. We have this over here, we have mode, flash, drive and ISO. This camera was DS, but you could still, if you had a cassette without the coding on, by pressing that, you can then, as you can see here, you can change your ISO. We can change our mode from program, shutter speed, aperture priority, manual, program, as I said there, and we have a special here, program S, scene program, where you've got landscape, silhouette, which is quite different, sport, close-up, portrait. And if you were stuck to remember what those program themes were, it was on the back here. Unfortunately, this can easily get rubbed off. The camera is incredibly easy to load. You open it here, camera goes in there, across, very straightforward to load. And as I said, you've got your mode buttons here, your flash, your drive. You can do single or multi-drive. The green buttons on the top, when you press both greens together, you get a default setting, which is very useful because on this camera we are, as I said, moving towards automation, and you might have had a plus on your exposure or minus, and by pressing the two together you get to default mode. The green, you got a plus and minus aperture there, which is quite useful. To, as I said, the select switch is here. What I find particularly interesting about this camera is you can see how the design of future Nikons, especially the professional cameras like the D300S and the D4, with this selection switch here with the mode on and drive, it is a little bit bulky. One or two, it's very useful here as well. We've got manual focusing, we've got single focus and a continuous focus, so as you are moving around it with continuous focus. We've still got depth of field preview here, which for a professional photographer is incredibly useful. We can still use on here a lot of the old lenses. If you are using program mode, you need to move the aperture to f22, or the smallest aperture, and that then puts the camera in program mode. I must say, when I was using this, there was a tendency to put it in program and leave it in program because it worked so well. At the time, they were considered not to be as fast as the Canon for focusing. However, when I used this, it's definitely an improvement on the 801 on the focusing. Canon, as I said, was supposed to have the edge on autofocusing. It does look a slightly dated camera, but the prices of these is moderately reasonable. I would say they are between £20 and £90, which sounds a big margin, but that is how the internet seems to operate sometimes. It was followed by the F100, which is a great camera, but F100 you can expect to pay at least £90 for the body. The camera which is slightly under its replacement is the F80, which again is a very good camera. I was surprised with how excellent this camera was. In its day, it did have a good name. As I said, lots of professional and top-end professionals used to enjoy using this camera. It's quite a contrast to the F50, which I'm going to talk about in another video, but if you want a good quality film camera with a bit of character, then I don't think you can go wrong with the F90.